Second myth I wanted to bust today, which is a classic one. It's been the feature of movies, in fact. This whole premise has been the feature of movies. One called Limitless, for example. There's another film called
Piqued my
Lucy.
interest.
Exactly. Piqued your interest. So I'm on Andy's train here. If it's visual, if it's film, he's into it.
Yeah, yeah,
Scarlett
yeah.
Johansson is a propagator of this myth.
Yeah,
Maybe not
yeah.
intentionally, bless her,
I
but
know the myth. I think I know which one you're going to say.
so there is a myth that you might even believe. I hear this literally all the time. This is the reason I wanted to do this episode is because I hear this one all the time and I was fed up of it. So I thought if I make a podcast about it, I can then send this to them and not have to explain it to them in
Can
future.
I guess?
Quite
Can
nice.
I jump in and
Yes,
guess?
go on.
Can I? Is that all right?
Yeah,
Is
of
that all
course,
right? Thank
of
you.
course it is your
So,
show.
is the myth, Mr. Adam Wright, that we do not use 100, that are not utilizing 100% of our brains?
Yes, sir. There is a myth that we use 10% of our brain, and if we just unlock through, I think the plot of Lucy is that she's like is the only person who can use 100% of her brain, and that means that like she can move things like the Force or like
Then she
11 in
basically
Stranger
becomes
Things.
space. Like she doesn't
Yeah.
become a physical being anymore.
No, she becomes an entity that can control time, but we only use 10% of our brain. So then if we accessed 100% at any moment, we could literally like that's the whole plot of the film. This is, nonsense, basically. It's not true that we use 10% of our brain. As surprising to know, in our myth busting episode, we bring this one up because it's not true. And as we said to the previous myth, there's an element of truth in this myth, the small one, that basically brain activity is localized to certain areas. Like we kind of said in the previous one about left brain, right brain. When you're doing something, you're probably firing more neurons in one area, focusing your most activity in a certain part of your brain. But the idea that you're using just a tiny bit of it and nothing else is happening is just completely not true at all. It's completely not true at
Yeah,
all.
exactly right. I think I was trying to think where the myth comes from because I think that's exactly it. The idea that, when certain circuits are very active, it's not that other circuits aren't working, they're just quieter. So those circuits then appear more on, MRIs, functional magnetic resonance images, where we can get some proxy of what's going on in the brain. But, the kind of kickback powerfully is evolution is not going to make you carry around 90% of a hunk of flesh if
It
you're
does
only
nothing.
using 10% of it. Yeah, it's going to ditch it. It's going to say, like cave fish, they've got eyes and then they end up living in a cave because of some geological fault and they end up in darkness. They lose their eyes.
Mm.
They don't keep them.
Yeah, it's not
Evolution gets
useful.
rid of what's not being used.
It's like
Exactly.
us in the appendix, isn't it? We don't need that appendix. What's that doing there? Get rid of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's interesting. On the appendix, let's go. Let's talk about the appendix for a sec, because actually, I think we know why we have the appendix. The appendix is like a little cul-de-sac where our body can keep all the good bacteria it needs. So if we get some terrible infection,
It's a little
and
fridge.
well, so basically, when we say get diarrhea and everything disappears out, we've
Lovely.
got this little culture where we can reseed our bacterial
So it's
biome.
literally like those people who want to like take a time capsule for
It's
stuff.
it's basically
People
it's
who
the
like want
body
to
saying we
bury
need we're,
civilization
yeah,
underground.
exactly, we're nurturing these bacteria because we are going to get infections sometimes and we're going to lose them all, so we're going to reseed, like sourdough, people keep that little bit of yeast. It's that. It's the
So have you
appendix.
just debunked the fact that we don't need an appendix? We actually do.
We do need, yeah, I mean, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. Basically, if you think about things we don't need, like there's this idea in evolutionary theory, spandrels. A spandrel is a thing that is there simply because of something else that's there. So, for example, men's nipples we don't need. They're there because we're based on female body plans, and women, we need nipples because their babies can have their food. But men don't have, there's no use for men's nipples.
This is just fascinating stuff. I'll tell you that. I could spend all day talking
see,
about this.
we're actually not even just busting brain myths. We're busting nipple myths. We're busting
Yeah,
appendix myths. We're busting
exactly.
all the
I'm
myths all
sure,
over
I'm
the
sure
shop,
there'll
mate.
be listeners out there that have got their nipples pierced and say, "This is why I've got my
Exactly.
nipple."
That's a use for it, but you're making a use for something that doesn't currently have a use.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And the final myth I want to talk about is one.